So this is a weird video, but I literally have so much going on with them being sick, them not being in daycare, and the podcast starting that I was like, I'm just gonna get on, talk about the podcast a little bit what's going on with life, starting at the gym again, got sick children, and hey guys, my name is Shayla. Welcome to my channel. If this is your first time here, I talk about motherhood, I talk about pregnancy, we do things kind of natural, a little bit granola, like that. If you're into that, please subscribe. I'm also on Instagram, also HEYSHAYLA. Mostly stories. Also, I have a 2.5-year-old and a 6-month-old. Somebody mentioned that they like when I say that so they know like where in life this video pops in, and I was like, oh, that's kind of clever. And I'm starting my podcast this week. So if you are into podcasting, I'm kind of actually just going to talk about that. So grab your half gallon of water and let's get into it. I started a podcast because YouTube is fantastic, but I'm talking to the camera a lot, and I love human connection. In my 3rd trimester of pregnancy, I actually got a job at Lululemon in the Mall of America just to like talk to people. So I'd do an 8-hour shift and I'd call Seth in my 3rd trimester and he's like, how was it? And I was like, great. It was so much fun. I got to talk to all the people and hang out. So that's just my personality. So like YouTube's fantastic, but it's a one-way conversation unless I'm in the comments. So I started a podcast because like I would get these professionals in my DMs giving me all this advice, and I was like, yo, let's record this and share it with everyone else. So it's been great, and I honestly can't believe the people that have agreed. For example, the first episode back is with Tessa Romero, and she is a yeah, she resets your mindset. Okay, come on. With motherhood, and I wanted to talk to her because I've had a huge motherhood mindset shift, and so I was like, let me talk to the guru and the coach. Hi.
I just came upstairs.
Oh, you just came upstairs? Where were you? Were you outside?
No.
Oh, so I just talked to her about this new mindset shift that I've had, and that's the first episode. It comes out November 1st, 2022. Then I read this book called Balanced and Barefoot. It's an occupational therapist who does her occupational therapy outside with kids to give them like the full sensory experience. It was a fascinating book. It just made it different how I helped her do stuff. She had incredible information about like independent play and outside play. Then I recorded with Jesse Truelove, who basically just does her own thing and doesn't really worry about what anyone else thinks. So I wanted to interview her about just like following your instincts versus what society tells you. So that's November 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. Great podcasts.
Mom,
Yeah, babe.
I want to buy necklace.
Okay, a necklace. This little one is supposed to be in daycare right now, but she is ill, and she never ever. She actually is 2.5, and she just dropped her one nap that she's supposed to be taking. 2 days ago on Monday, I was putting Esme down, and she came and laid with me and fell asleep. So that's how I knew she was like really sick. Now Ezzy has it. It's just like a cough, runny nose. Now I have it. It's wonderful. And like today, I didn't know if I should send her to daycare or not. Because toddlers are wild. Like, they'll have a fever and a runny nose, and then they're just like, I want to go outside, I want to go do this, blah, blah, blah. And you're like, can you go to daycare, though? It's like, you seem fine. But I kept her home because, I don't know, I don't want to give other people what she has, even though she probably got it from there. I feel like this is a struggle with everybody in daycare. And I was talking to another friend, and I was like, do we just do, like, a nanny so that she doesn't get sick all the time? And they're like, there's troubles with that, too. Like, with nannies, they might be sick, or they might go on vacation or whatever. So we're dealing with illness in the house right now. Let's see, who else do I have? The matrescence thing. I did a video talking about my mindset change and matrescence. She is a postpartum doula and Ayurvedic chef. So she talked to me about matrescence and like how to, I don't know, adapt into your motherhood, I guess, and said it takes 1.5 to 4 years to like fully accept it. And we talk about mommy brain because she said it's a literal thing that happens, and it's a rewiring of the brain so that your brain is focused on your baby instead of like general tasks that you need to get done. If you are pregnant and you want to breastfeed, please listen to, I'm gonna look it up right now because it's that important. Episode number 8, establishing your supply from day 1 is gold. Well, she got on to talk to me about co-sleeping with your baby and how to do it safely, and if you can do it safely, because there's some things that you need to do, and if you can't, like if you need to take sleep medication, you can't sleep with your baby. If you're pumping and you're not breastfeeding, it's not as safe to sleep with your baby. So she goes through all of that, and I just find it absolutely fascinating. She's like, your body knows not to roll off your bed it knows not to roll onto your baby. There's just such good nuggets in there. I had a podiatrist on from Australia. He's a big like barefoot guy where you don't wear any shoes. He compared wearing shoes for like 40 years to wearing a neck brace for 40 years, which I know is kind of extreme, but he's like, essentially people have all this support, they're having pain, and then they want to take off the shoe and potentially try and go barefoot, and it's like taking off this neck brace. Sounds like he's extreme, but he's also like, if you want to wear shoes when you play basketball, that's fine. Just try and be barefoot at home. And they said that kids want to be barefoot all the time, which is why they take their shoes off all the time, because they need the sensory input from the ground to their brain to know like uneven terrain and just to like be able to feel and grip it with their feet. So interesting. I'm such a nerd. I actually be curious to hear which episode of these sound like most interesting to you. They're gonna come out, like I said, November 1, 2, and 3, and then every Thursday, because my YouTube videos go out every Tuesday. The book that changed my life. How to Talk So Kids Will Listen. Basically, I did a whole video about that, of like talking to your toddler and how to mitigate their tantrums. Made me enjoy motherhood so much more. And I think that was the switch into motherhood, because I wasn't trying to control her and get her to do what I needed to do. I was now trying to work with her, and it just felt like things just came easier when I was like, oh, these are skills that work, that have her have less meltdowns, because she knows that I understand what she needs and what she's saying, and I can like relate to her, and then she just is like chill. It's incredible. And I was like, wow, this is actually really fun. There's a woman here in Minnesota who opened the first no waste refillable shop. I went to it. It's incredible. There's like Q-tips, there's sponges, there's refillable spices. Like, it's so just interesting, the things that I didn't even think twice about, I guess, sometimes. She's going to be on the podcast to talk about sustainable parenting. So like things that we can do to reduce, because I feel like in order to make parenting easy, it's become single use. We've got squeezers. We've got, I don't know, I started doing crock pot, and people were like, ooh, put the liners in the crock pot. And I'm like, that's single use, and that's like cooking plastic, so I don't feel great about it. But they were like, makes my life easier. I was like, teach their own, man. You do it. Thank you. Thank you so much. Do you want some pizza too? Oh, no, you don't? Do you need some water? You hear that little guy?
Yep.
She said that Minneapolis has got a toy library, so you can go rent toys and then bring them back. I love that. I have Edwina. I said her name wrong on the podcast. She is a baby-led weaning. She's a baby-led feeding person. She's like, purees, solids, I don't care. These are the signs that your baby's ready. These are the signs.
Be quiet.
Oh, are your babies going to sleep?
What's your baby?
I don't have a baby. Do you have a baby I can use? That podcast was to do choking versus gagging, because I heard her on a different podcast talking about that, and it completely alleviated so much of my stress about choking versus gagging. So I was so thankful for that. What else? We Talkers are going to be talking about screen time. It's so funny, the things that you think you're going to do until you become a parent, and then you have to do these things. Like, I was like, oh, screen time? No way. But like, Seth is a parent too, and Seth likes to watch TV to unwind. So he will turn on the TV, and I'm like, okay, I guess we're watching TV. But then I also realized that she needs to unwind sometimes. Like, after daycare, she needs to unwind a bit. I might have interviewed multiple people on it, because I just think it's interesting. And then I have the founders of Explore, which is the wool base layer that I use, which is amazing. I think HEYSHAYLA gets you a discount. It's like their uniform in the winter, because I know it keeps them warm. I bought myself one so I can stay warm while I'm outside. They're going to be on talking about how to dress your kid for winter. And then Love Bug, which is the probiotic that I use through pregnancy and postpartum. I give it to her in her water, and I give it to Ezzy. It's like a vitamin D drop and postpartum drop. And so I'm going to talk to her, because I think a bunch of stuff happened to her. Like, she had to take antibiotics during her labor, had C-sections, I believe. I don't know. I'm going to talk to her all about it and like learn about probiotics and why they're helpful. So I'm really nerding out pretty hard on this podcast. It's like my favorite thing. But I hope that you find the information helpful as well. I'm also going to be joining the gym. I mentioned to Seth that I was interested in getting started back up at the gym, because I quit it when I was pregnant, because I was like, I don't want to get sick. I'm not really going that much. And now we're 6 months postpartum, and I'm like, oh, maybe I'm ready for the gym again. So I'm pretty excited about that, actually. Seth was just like, I activated it today. I'm like, okay, because he's the workout guy. I'm like the nutrition person who's like, let's eat well, let's have whole foods, let's blah, blah. And he's like, let's go work out, let's go on a walk, let's go on a run, whatever. So we're a good balance, which is nice. And then as far as my YouTube course goes, it's getting to be a lot to finish it. So what I've decided is that I'm going to launch what's available now, which is just like getting your YouTube channel up and running at X amount of price. And then you'll get a lifetime use. So then as I add the lessons, you're locked in at that price. So whatever it is. And as I add more lessons, it'll go up to $2 and $3 and $4 until it stops at like $6 or whatever it is. That feels like a huge stress relief because I have this podcast or this YouTube, my podcast, Instagram, brand collaborations, my blog, like all the things plus children. And so I just have had to figure out like where to chill out, and the stress of the YouTube course was doing it. But I'm so passionate about it because I love marketing and I love teaching people that want to do it. Yeah, babe.
Yeah.
She takes this like this, and then she puts it around her shoulder like this, so that it's like Elsa and the hair, right?
No,
Oh, for you. Oh, wow, look at that long hair.
No.
Oh, you want it in the back? So we've got Halloween coming up. What are you going to be for Halloween? Tinkerbell, that's right. Literally, I was like, what could I be as like a family to match Tinkerbell? And I think it's Wendy, which is like a blue moo-moo. I mean, college, you wear little clothes for Halloween, right?
My be Halloween.
What am I going to be for Halloween? I think I'm going to be Tinkerbell's friend, Wendy. Yeah? I think it's genius. I think it's the greatest idea ever.
My daddy Halloween.
What's Daddy going to be? Maybe Daddy can be Peter Pan. Should we ask him? It's just funny what 10 years can do for your Halloween experience. So this is a weird video, but I literally have so much going on with them being sick, them not being in daycare, and the podcast starting that I was like, I'm just going to get on, talk about the podcast a little bit, talk about a little bit what's going on with life, starting at the gym again, got sick children, and that's about it. So I hope that you enjoyed this, and I will see you next week. Mwah. Bye.